guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who haven't been before, my name's Zoe. Today I want to talk about Jedward. So Jedward have this week been posting tweets en masse exposing Simon Cowell, Psycho and Modest Management. And I don't know about you guys, but I am here for it. If you just have a little glance at what they've said, it might not look like much, but guys, what they have said is really, really serious and could have serious implications for them. It's a little bit confusing if you go on Twitter to understand what it is they're talking about, so I have deciphered them all for you. So they started off by saying their biggest regret in life was not telling the X Factor judges to F off. They then went on to say what a lot of us already suspected. They said that the mentors, the celebrity judges, do not actually mentor the contestants of the show at all. They are just in it for themselves. They're there for the fame and they're there for the money. And that is something that I did talk a little bit about in my Natalia Kills video, because when I read Gary Barlow's book, ironically titled A Better Me, it was pretty clear why he was judging the X Factor. They then go on to say that every contestant on the show is a slave to the X Factor, whilst the X Factor make millions of pounds and they make nothing. Which is not surprising, because a leaked copy of the X Factor contract says that contestants of the show are expected to take part in the show for free, and once the show finishes, they are expected to promote the show for 1 month with no pay. What a nice company. So before I get on to the next set of tweets, I just want to show you this part of the X Factor Psycho contract that all contestants have to sign. Bear in mind that in the terms of the contract, even after termination of said contract, these terms are still valid. So you're not allowed to talk about the show. You're not allowed to talk about other contestants. You're not allowed to talk about the company. And most of all, you are not allowed to talk about Simon Cowell. Which brings me nicely to the next tweet that Jedward tweeted. They said that Simon Cowell thinks that he is the mafia boss of the music industry, and in fact, he is just a bad facelift. They are definitely not allowed to say that. They then went on to say, just casually waiting here for the lawyers to come threatening us. Justice will be served. Now, I don't know if they know something that we don't, and there is some question into the legality of the X Factor contracts and the management contracts, which I am going to look into a little bit on my next video. And then they go on to say that there is a reason that Psycho is called Psycho. And guys, they are not allowed to say that. Jedward have claimed to have a copy of One Direction's contract, which they say was sent to them because they had the same management company, they had the same accountant, the same lawyer, and they accidentally got a copy of the contract. They obviously can't put that contract out there because there would be legal ramifications if they were to do that. But after they had put those tweets out, they then filmed them opening a message from Louis Tomlinson asking them if they'd lost their minds. And no one really knows whether that is actually real, but Louis Tomlinson then unfollowed them after they'd put that out. A lot of the fans, the One Direction fans, they think that Louis has unfollowed them because he doesn't want to get implicated in anything they say, and if people think that he has been messaging them, he may be feeding them information and then he could get in big trouble. But Jed would say that the restrictions that have been put on Little Mix and One Direction is part of the reason that they have chosen to speak out and put themselves on the line. Another thing that I noticed today, when I was on Spotify was that Jedward's debut album, Planet Jedward, is no longer available to stream. So then I went on to YouTube to have a look for the video to their song Ice Ice Baby, Under Pressure, which was their biggest song. And it appears that that has also been deleted from YouTube. Punishment maybe for them speaking out? I mean, that song was #1 in 2010 when it was released in Ireland, and it got to #2 in the UK charts. So I don't see any reason why the record company would benefit from removing it from streaming platforms and removing it from YouTube. Jedward did say in this tweet, "We are putting ourselves in a very dangerous position speaking out. Victims in the music industry need to be heard." And Jedward are putting themselves in a very precarious situation by speaking out, and the repercussions of them speaking out could be very, very serious. There is a very real chance that they could get blacklisted or even worse. Jedward said in the next few tweets that artists are isolated from their families. They have constant security who watch them and report back to the management companies. They are threatened and blacklisted if they ask too many questions. And they are under so much strain that they develop eating disorders and mental health issues such as depression. But nobody cares. Nobody cares because it's all about the money. It's just the money. They say that artists' schedules are so bad and they work so hard on tours that by the time the tour finishes, they suffer from exhaustion. They even went as far as to say some of the stories from LA include tales such as set up overdoses where the person is left in bed or in the bath alone until the emergency services get there. Obviously, there's no way to tell whether the stories they've been told are true or whether they are just a scaremongering tactic. This is no way for artists to live in fear of saying the wrong thing and getting punished, in fear of being overworked and not being allowed to take a break, in fear of developing mental health problems or eating disorders and having no one to turn to because they have been isolated from their families. They are left with no one to turn to, no one to reach out to, and they have to just live in that life of fear. Jedward say that the controlling behaviour even stretches as far as interviews. The interview questions are screened beforehand so that the management can ensure that they control the narrative, and if the artist says anything off script, there will be consequences. This type of controlling behaviour that Jedward and many other people have described from within the music industry sounds as though it is designed to make artists dependent, isolating them from their sources of support, family, friends, etc., regulating most, if not all, of their everyday behaviour, exploiting them in every and any way for their own personal gain, and from what I've read, intimidation, keeping artists in a constant state of fear, afraid that if they speak out about the treatment, they will be blacklisted, fined, or even worse. This kind of behaviour is not healthy for artists. I mean, it's not healthy for anyone, but it will take its toll on their sense of self-worth and their overall well-being. And unfortunately, the repercussions of this are the sorts of things that we read in the newspapers all too often. Artists and members of staff and anyone involved in that industry seem to be finding their voice and feeling as though they can speak out, and that's a really, really good thing. And these stories about management companies and record companies are becoming more and more prevalent in social media, in mainstream social media, every day. These stories of intimidation and control, if true, sound as though they could become abusive. Jedward and many others are saying that these companies are controlling their freedom and autonomy. The companies make them feel dominated, trapped and fearful. There are many individuals who have openly said they are not willing to speak out because they fear for the safety of themselves and they fear for the safety of their children and families. There are many, many people speaking out about sexual harassment and abuse within the entertainment industry, and all of these things are a big red flag for corporate coercive control. The use of non-disclosure agreements or NDAs are a big reason why many people who would like to speak out cannot. And Jedward made it clear in their tweets that because of those people not being able to speak out, they're speaking out for them, even though it might get them in big, big trouble. And I think a lot of us already know that that is the case, but I think it is so sad that they can just slap an NDA on somebody to stop them speaking up about something that is immoral or illegal. But the truth will come out in the end. These people are not as powerful as they once were. I do believe that from such a position of power, you cannot spend your life manipulating, controlling and intimidating people and expect the truth to not come out eventually. Even if you have the newspapers and the mainstream media outlets in your pocket, we have the internet. We now have a way of communicating with one another. We have a platform to stand on and speak together. Keep fighting the fight, Jedward. I'm with you. We all stand with you. You guys are being so brave and we love you for it. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If there are any updates on the Jedward exposing the X Factor situation, I will be sure to let you know. Keep your eyes peeled for my next video. We're going to have a little look into the contracts that the X Factor, Psycho, Britain's Got Talent make people sign. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye.